Hey guys, welcome to Two Dudes Talking. I'm DJ. That's Dustin.
We're back.
Yep, we're back. UFC 259.
I believe they're 259 already.
259 of them. This one's insane. I mean, 4 belt holders, 3 fights. I mean, there's just so much to talk about. We don't even need to talk about Dominick Cruz is on this card. Thiago Santos is back, but we're not talking about those. Those are really interesting fights. Good luck to them both. But let's get right into it. The first of the title fights is Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. I mean, two different, really different fighters, right? Like.
Yeah.
It couldn't be any different in these two.
You want to talk about a style clash to open up the belt fights? Good God, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Peter Yan is just the epitome of the Russian fighter, right? Super tough. That's all he thinks about. That's all he does. He is a fighter, tried and true, just like in and out. That is his identity is fighting. Aljamain Sterling is a little bit of a different cat, right? Like, I mean, I thought it was interesting, he's an avid chess player. And not just like,
not know that.
With, timed chess, not just regular chess, right? And look, I mean, Team Longo from Long Island. I mean, he's got great training partners, got a great camp, but look, I'll tell you exactly how it's going down. Peter Yan knocks out Aljamain Sterling in 2 rounds because Peter Yan is just a monster. I just don't think that Aljamain Sterling. I don't think it's his time yet. I don't think he's ready for this. And I think that this style is going to really hurt Aljamain. I just don't think he has what it takes. I mean, what do you think?
Look, it's such a clash of styles. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've got their bantamweights. They're going to have tanks for days. They can punch each other repeatedly and last 5 rounds.
It's hard. And
just to be different, because you picked Yan, I'll take the upset. But you got to beat the champ, which is proven to be tough recently because either the champ is that good or, they try to go to a decision with it. And usually that doesn't work out because, again, you need to go in and take it from the champ.
Yeah. And look, I want to root for the Funk Master. I want him to take the belt. I just don't see Peter Yan being beatable. Not by Aljamain Sterling. I just don't think he's fast enough to be. He's not Izzy. We'll talk about Adesanya later, but he's just not that guy, right? Like he's interesting. He's got kicks. He's got it all. Peter Yan's just he's a fighter's fighter.
Yeah, look, I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
Either guy you picked, I would have said yes. I agree.
Next up is the Lioness Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson.
She ain't
no.
The champ ain't losing.
Megan Anderson, she's interesting because she's a taller female fighter. I think she's 6'1", and strong and lanky. Look, it doesn't matter because Amanda Nunes is the GOAT.
For sure.
She's beat everybody, not just 1 or 2. She has everybody on her resume, from Cyborg to Cupcake to all of them. Like all of them. She's got all their heads on her wall. This is her first fight since the baby.
True.
And I'm not a woman. I don't know how your body changes, all that stuff. I think that but she's an athlete, and I don't think it's gonna be that tough for her to come back and fight at a high level. And when you're the GOAT, like you're just so much better than everybody else. I just think that she's gonna pound, Megan for rounds and rounds and rounds.
Look, I can actually see this going to the ground and ending there. I can see Nunes trying to eliminate the slight reach advantage that Megan has by saying, you know what? I understand that you have it. You're a little taller than I am. I'm going to take you down to the ground, work you for 2 or 3 rounds, exhaust you out, and either tap you or just ground and pound you.
Yeah. And look, I'm always one of those people, I pull out little sound clips of what people say during their interviews, in conversations. And Anderson and her coach basically said, we're training for this like it's just another fight on the card. And I'm like, now you lost. And I go back to, you think this is a joke. It's not a joke. It's not just another fight. It is a championship fight against the GOAT. Like, it is not just another fight. And you've already lost the mental fight because you're approaching it that way. I always go back to when Cupcake fought Ronda Rousey, and I'm sitting there with Brendan Schaub. We're watching this fight, right? We're sitting in his living room. We're watching the fight, and Cupcake's coming out to that Katy Perry song, and she's kind of
you're talking about the weigh-ins or the pre-fight?
No, this is coming. She's coming out to the octagon, and she's coming out to a Katy Perry song, and she's like this, and then Brendan just goes, he hits me, and he goes, she thinks this is a joke. And I'm like, I look down like, what do you mean? He goes, she thinks that this is fun and games. And I'm like, she is kind of taking it a little bit lightheartedly. I know that she always came out to that song. I can't even remember what's called offhand, but she always did kind of come out to this girly song. And then, here comes Ronda Rousey coming out to Joan Jett, right? Bad reputation and ready to thrash and completely destroy whoever's in front of her. Very, very different mindsets. I think that, like I said, I mean, that it's kind of a stretch where I'm going. I'm trying to make that connection. But like I said, I think that you have to have like the eye of the tiger, when you're fighting someone like this. And I don't see Amanda Nunes. I don't see it going past like maybe the third, like midway through the third round. I don't think it gets the championship rounds either.
I only think it does get the championship rounds if Nunes is just still working on the ground and just trying to exhaust her out. If she goes, I'm taking you to the ground and I'm going to work on you for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm keeping you down here. I think then maybe it gets to the 4th round.
I mean, I see. Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I feel like the first round, Anderson's length's going to give her trouble. She's going to have to figure that out. Second round, she's going to figure out how to get her to the ground. And then third round, she finishes her off. That's kind of like the story, the through line for this. But I wouldn't be surprised too if it go. I mean, the last couple fights that Nunes has had has gone to decision. So, I mean, I think that some people are trying to say she's losing steam and maybe it's, maybe she's coming to the end. I don't think that. She's still the GOAT. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if she just picks her apart for five rounds and it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, the way Nunes has fought in her career as being the double champ and the GOAT, she can do whatever she wants.
Absolutely.
If she can figure out what Megan's got going and what her game plan is in the first round, she'll come out in the second round and go, I got you.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. And look, I understand why these fights lined up to all be on this card, but I really wish Nunes would get her own card like she's had in the past and carry her own pay-per-view. She deserves it. Like, she's totally worth a pay-per-view buy. But getting to the main event, this is a light heavyweight championship bout. We have Israel Adesanya moving up in weight.
Is he though?
Middleweight? Yes, from middleweight to light heavy to fight.
Is he though? Is he going to actually move up in weight?
He is.
Based on what he said, he's not.
Yeah. So he's fighting Jan Blachowicz, the Polish power, the Polish champ, first Polish UFC champion. Look, okay. I'm gonna. Here's my piece about Adesanya. I don't think that Adesanya beat anybody. I'm going to say, yes, I am going to say he had a easy path. Such a hot take.
That's a
Such
bold
a
move,
hot take.
Cotton. See how it
But
pays out.
I mean, you look at his resume, last 5-6 fights or so. Who's the hardest one? Was it Kelvin Gastelum? Gastelum or whatever? I mean, I would say it's probably Robert Whittaker. It wasn't Anderson Silva. He got Anderson Silva on his resume because he asked for him, and it's just like I need to fight the greatest of all time, but you're fighting the greatest of all time on a super steep decline. That was not even close. The Spider shouldn't have. Costa, Mr. Claiming I was hungover.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna say that is not as deep a resume as Jan Blachowicz, and I mean, he's had some interesting losses against Goose, right? Gustafsson. He's had, I mean, his last fight to win the championship belt, I think arguably is probably the biggest win of his career if you take the belt out of it. But I mean, he's fought everybody in this division. I think he's fought guys when they were close to peak, maybe not at peak, but close to peak, as you can get in relation to what Adesanya has fought. Not taking anything away from Adesanya. Like, you're a champion, you beat everybody in front of you. Awesome. But moving up to the weight class of Jan, okay? And I mean, I just don't think that you move up weight class and then you fight this guy who is a hardened fighter, okay? The guy is a hardened individual, and think that you're going to be able to dance and matrix around this dude. This dude's going to go right at you and put a hole through your chest. And I think that Jan can take the kicks and just press forward. And with that power, that punching power, and look, Israel keeps saying, I'm going to show everybody muscles don't win fights. Okay, that was maybe true of Costa.
Is it Mike Tyson versus a ninja argument?
It's kind of that argument. It is Mike Tyson versus a ninja. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, look, well, first of all, Adesanya said he's not really going to go up in weight in the sense of he's not going to try and gain the 205 limit. I'm assuming that's because he wants to then turn around and defend his belt.
Big mistake if he doesn't.
I mean, I understand that he's taller. He has a bigger reach. His style is ridiculous. I mean, it's out of this world. His nickname, the Style Bender, is very appropriate.
And he's moved up in weight class, in both kickboxing and in boxing too.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the level of the UFC competition, but
you're stepping into light heavyweight. Now, they don't have cement mixers for hands like the heavyweights do, but they're close.
Yeah.
Like, those kicks and their punches, even if you block them, ow.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that, he's going to try something, and if he can get it off, it could work. But if he doesn't, and it gets blocked, deflected, or doesn't hit clean, Jan's going to walk right through it and go, okay, that was cute.
Yeah.
Here we go. And I really don't understand him taking this fight. I understand that he wants to be a champ. I get that.
Yeah.
But he's undefeated. He has everything to lose by coming up.
Here's a couple things. So, one, this is in the smaller octagon. So, advantage Blachowicz, advantage him, advantage the fighter, the puncher. Israel's not going to be able to kind of move around and do his thing. Look, it's all about the kicks, because you ain't going into the ground with Blachowicz. Blachowicz is a black belt jiu-jitsu fight player.
Oh, no. If he goes to the ground, it's over.
Fine there. He's not going to be able to trade punches with him. Fine there. The only thing I see is him being faster, but I mean, you still have to land. You still have to land with bad intentions. if I'm going to pick that way, I'm going with the Polish champ. But so making your point about why did he take this fight? So apparently his manager coach did this, and laid this whole plan out for him even before his last fight, which I have a real issue with. Right, like if you don't involve the fighter in these decisions, I think you're making a mistake. I think that the coach maybe feels he's bigger than the situation, that he's making the champ, and the champ's not really, where I'm going with it.
I do, but how'd that work out for the other guys that did that? Oh wait.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that the manager coach should be making these decisions without first talking to a fighter and seeing. And look, Adesanya is like, hey, I'm going to take the challenge. It sounds like an awesome challenge to take on. I'm in. They made the decision. The team spoke, and they decided that this is the best route for me. And I'm like, you decide what the best route for you is, not your team. You get an involvement. You get to say what that is. And look, if he was posed this opportunity, I'm sure he wouldn't have turned it down. He's a competitor, he's a champion, etc. But like I said, I just have a real issue when managers and coaches get that involved to making those types of decisions. I don't see it. I don't see it going well for Adesanya. But it has to go well if he's going to pose the narrative of then trying to fight Jon Jones, because apparently he thinks he can move up to heavyweight.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And if the cards align,
it's very clear what he's trying to do.
Yeah, if the
he's
cards
trying to do
align,
one of two things. One, completely chase Jon Jones in the sense of, if he can win this fight, he thinks he'll talk enough trash and run his mouth that it'll get Jon Jones to come back down and fight him for the belt.
Yeah.
Or two, he wants to be the triple champ.
I think that's where he wants to go with it, is he wants the triple champ. He wants to be referred to as the greatest of all time, without doubt. And he would be, without doubt, the greatest of all time by belts. I'm not going to say he's the greatest fighter of all time. He's the greatest he's the greatest belt holder of all time. I know it's an asterisk. I know it's an asterisk.
I get that.
But
look, it's the era conversation over and over again. But if you win the middleweight belt and you hold it like he has, and it's not his fault that they have the fighters who they have right now.
Right.
You come up when you come up. So I don't blame him for that. Is he one of the greatest middleweights of all time? Absolutely. If you can hold the light heavyweight belt, let's assume he wins, and you can actually defend it and hold it, and you can, by some god of imagination, go up to heavyweight and beat Miocic, Bazookas, or Bones, or whoever, and hold all three and actually defend all three, go. If you can defend all three belts.
Yeah. You have to defend them. You can't just grab them and hold on.
If you can defend all three belts, I'm not talking about winning them. Winning them is amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you turn around and then defend it, all three of them, go.
Then you could be the baddest man on the planet. I'm in for that. I can agree there. I think that the cards align for Jon Jones taking on winner of Stipe and Bazookas.
Nothing against Stipe. Great fighter, but I want to see Bazookas Jones.
Absolutely. I think the whole world wants to see that. And then, assuming Jones wins, then comes. Well, no. This is the way.
You're playing
the UFC
it out. Right.
Yeah, this is the way the UFC cards have to fall. And then Jon Jones wins, and now Adesanya fights Jones for this triple championship belt thing. I think that's what obviously everybody wants, because that's the fight that you can make in a perfect world by December. If you lay out the months without certain suspensions, etc., and that's the December fight that gets you in to Alliance Stadium. No, I'm thinking where the Raiders are, Alliance Stadium.
Oh, Vegas.
To fight there in Vegas.
The Death Star.
That's ultimately where you Dana White wants to put a fight.
I had a thought. So bear with me on this. This is kind of a stretch.
Okay.
So Adesanya wins. And I'm assuming between now and December, whenever they have the Texas fight, he defends. light heavyweight or middleweight or both. Don't care. Bones somehow beats Stipe or Bazookas. We'll say Bazookas. They meet. Is there a weight limit on the underside for heavyweight? Do you have to be a certain weight to make heavyweight? I know you have to be a certain weight. At the top limit is like 260, I think.
265 or 260, yeah.
Yeah, but is there a bottom? Yeah, I don't think there is. So if there's not, we'll assume there's not. I don't. If somebody tell me, or tell him, he'll tell me. So if there's not, Bones, Adesanya, both belts on the line for light heavyweight. So if Bones wins, he gets the light heavyweight championship back.
Oh, do it as some
wins.
sort of catch weight ish.
Well, no, because exactly. But within the limits
of both.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, where's the heavyweight limit? Because 205. What is it? 205 is light heavyweight. So
yeah,
both belts on the line. Winner take both.
Yeah,
promote that, UFC. Have fun.
I mean, yeah. I mean, after just kind of breaking it down and analyzing, I just don't see a pathway for Adesanya on this one because I don't think he gets past Jan.
I don't either. I'm just playing it out hypothetically.
Yeah, I think he underestimates Blachowicz, and I think and I think that's just his attitude towards everything is kind of playful and fun and happy-go-lucky, and I think that he's kind of taken a little bit of notes from McGregor to kind of put himself in this, I'm the best ever, I can do this, I can do that, I'm a bad man. And I mean, you should be doing that as a fighter, especially as a top level athlete. But I just think Blachowicz is just he is a bigger version of what I just said Peter Yan is, which is just a fighter's fight, fighter.
They're very similar.
Yeah, I mean, these two fights are very similar in style matchups. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't
like true.
Yeah, I don't see it being very, very different. I'm seeing Blachowicz, like I said, put a hole in Israel Adesanya's chest and probably be able to take it in the mid-third round as well.
I'm going to say the second, only because I don't know that. Well, here's why. Assuming Adesanya really didn't come up in weight, so he's given 20, whatever it is, ends up being pounds by the time they step in the ring.
Yeah.
To the champ. How long can you get beat on, assuming he can't just evade before it's like, I can't take any more of this? Personally, I think that Adesanya needs to use leg kicks and take out his legs in the first and second rounds.
Like, which is what he did. What he did against Costa, right? Like,
for sure. And he should do it again.
He chopped the forest down and eventually was able to. And by the way, heavyweight, there is a 206 bottom limit. So
damn it.
So I don't know. I mean, could you make it work at 205.5? I don't know. It wouldn't be for.
Can't they just agree to put both belts on the line and be done?
Yes, if there was a commission out there that would agree to it. So
I bet you Dubai would do it.
I feel like Fight Island would be able to accomplish that, but definitely not the Nevada State Commission. Even as crooked as those guys are, I don't think it'll happen.
We already talked about that.
It won't happen.
Weigh in and fight on the same day, you assholes.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, the ring size that they have in the Apex should be the standard. The fights there are so much more exciting in a smaller ring. Why has the UFC not been like, this is the new standard? The fights are great.
Yeah.
When they went to the bigger ring again at Fight Island, it was decision fest.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure there's a commission thing. I'm sure there's also a monetary thing of building new octagons. All of that
trim.
I know. Yeah. Fuck. So anyway,
I got on that. I'm done.
Yeah, that's UFC 269. 259, sorry.
269 will be like next week, the rate they're going.
I know at the rate they're going. But another thing, RIP to two fighters who have been released from the UFC. Junior,
die.
Well, their careers did. Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem.
Look, amazing fighters
released from
the
UFC. Yes.
I always think of Overeem as a kickboxer first because I remember him in K1 or whatever.
That's where his greatness was, right? Yeah. That's where he was the great.
Yeah, I mean, watching him in kickboxing, it was like, holy Jesus, you are better than everybody around you. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And look, he had a great run with the UFC. It was fun to watch him. Unfortunately, father time catches up with us all.
Yeah,
and it was just his time.
Yeah, he caught a road. I think he caught a road bump in the middle of his career that just set him back.
Horse meat.
Yeah, and then JDS. I think that his style of fighting is not long for this world. It's it's punch and be punched, and he very much took the Rocky Balboa persona, not just in his walkouts with the song, but also like in who he thought he was as a fighter. Even as a jiu-jitsu black belt who did not care about going to the ground. He just wanted to end fights quickly, right?
He just wanted to, as they use the term in the UFC, or used to bang. He wanted to go in, I'm going to throw hands, you're going to throw hands. One of us is going to get knocked out. Let's go.
And way too many of those wars. But
yeah,
great careers. Both can hold their heads up high. That they
UFC Hall of Famers for sure.
Yeah. The Ryzen CEO, president, whatever, came out and said that Alistair should finish his career in Japan.
I agree. That's where it started, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, deservingly so. We'll see. I guess it just depends on what Alistair thinks is his next career move, right? Like, I think if he wants 4 or 5 more fights, but 4 or 5 more fights in Bellator is probably an easy day in the office for him at the heavyweight division, given the fact that, no offense, but Bader is the heavyweight champ. Right. He's still currently the heavyweight champ. Anybody know about that? But he was right. I mean, but that's what I'm saying is Alistair could have an easy day in the office fighting some guys there. His probably biggest,
it's true.
His biggest challenge would be like a Matt Mitrione, right? JDS, same thing for JDS. Like, I mean, those two guys could still draw some views. And does Viacom want to put up a few extra bucks to sign these guys? Because I'm sure that they will come with a little bit of a price tag. I think Alistair is probably going to overprice himself a little bit. That's probably what led to his cut, him being cut.
Yeah,
but
for sure,
I think I would not be surprised if they landed in Bellator, or ONE FC or whatever it is. And
I always forget about ONE FC.
I don't even know if they have a heavyweight division, to be honest. They're really known for their smaller guys. But I mean, look, and Bellator and Ryzen have done co-promotion events. So
there you go.
They could partner together to do an Alistair Overeem showcase in Japan. So that's easy enough to do for him and those two promotions.
They'll figure it out. That'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to watch them on a non-pay-per-view event and be good. But that's all I got UFC wise. What about you?
Yeah, I got nothing else UFC. I think that covered MMA completely.
I think you wanted to rant NBA though.
Oh God. Okay, so the NBA, the last 2 minutes of the game is taking like 15, 25 minutes of real time. Now I get when you're sitting there in person, it's not as bad because you're at the game and you're with people and everything else. But now that we're all stuck at home, it's driving me freaking crazy. Go to a live clock or something.
Especially
like
given
last 2 minutes of the game, no timeouts.
Especially when there's a fight earlier and there's another well, I'm sorry, there's a game following that game, and you just want to get to the next game, but this game's running over because this one took 15 minutes to complete, 3 minutes on the clock. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's killing me. It's driving me crazy. NBA and college, by the way. It's not exclusive.
Yeah. Well, I told you I tuned into the last, like, I don't know, couple minutes of the Portland Golden State game where I just came in. Lillard hits a 3 to win the game. All right, good. Moving on. Like, that's all I needed to see. Like, right now during the NBA season, all I need to watch are the Sports Center highlights, and I move on. I can't take watching a full game because it's brutal. There's so many commercials.
SVP, I love you. You're great. Scott Van Pelt. If you haven't watched his show on ESPN, you absolutely should. It's great. Bad beats.
Yeah, much better than Stephen A.
You mean Steven's World? Is he still on First Take?
Yes, he is, and he annoys me. And his interview with Israel Adesanya annoyed me because he really truly showed his ignorance. Max Kellerman is better because he understands the boxing game, but he had a few questions that were a little off track. But anyway,
how do you feel like getting hit in the face? It hurts.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, NBA live clock, make it happen. Yeah, I mean, you made the point. Like, no one's complaining about game length with
hockey,
soccer, and hockey, right? So
it just moves faster. And NBA is killing themselves. I mean, I get the TV people love it because they get more ads, but my God.
Yeah.
I mean, every time it happens, when it comes down to the last 2 minutes, I'm just like, click, I'll be back in like 20 minutes and there'll be a couple seconds left.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think all American sports have a game clock issue. All of them. Even the ones that don't have a game clock, like baseball.
No, that's
yeah. I mean, we can speed up these games. We can get to the freaking point. I think that
I could fix it, but the problem is the TV dollar would decrease, and that's the almighty God of their land. So
you figure out another way to make that money. You can find ways of making that money. You run ads at the bottom of the screen. You double box everything. You can find ways of generating that ad revenue.
No game should take 3 hours unless it literally goes to 20 innings.
I've worked with plenty of talented ad sales people at both Fox and ESPN, and they're very smart, but I also understand that they like their packages. They like selling through on those packages, and that's it. They need to be more creative in how they make their money. I mean, the double box, awesome innovation that we did at FS1. I mean, I remember being in a meeting room talking about this awesome innovation. And now everybody does it.
Yeah.
Now what else? What else are we doing? Right? Like, I feel like ad sales people aren't the creative people, and they just don't know how to figure that out. And I'm sorry if I'm offending any one of my ad sales people, but you know what? You need to be more creative in how you generate revenue. That's all
I'm just talking about live sports. I don't mean recorded content. Because the recorded content, the runtime to a T. This is going to take an hour and a half. Plus
I'm talking about live sports ad revenue.
Live sports only. This is only live stuff.
Yeah.
And also I include like the Oscars and all the award shows when they can have fans and people back in that statement. There's no way the Oscars should take 2 or 3 hours. Stop it. You should be able to knock that shit out in like an hour plus commercials.
Yeah.
Plus,
let's not even get started about those stupid award shows.
You should move like half the awards to the technical awards. Yes. I don't care if they don't care. Move them over.
Look, we both work in entertainment. We both have, I guess, I don't want to say like it's our bread and butter, or if it's, but I mean, it definitely feels good when our content wins
for a reason.
But I mean, I could care less about the Hollywood elite pats on the back. The Golden Globe, like the Golden Globes and all of those. Like, tell me when someone wins, and I
gave up. What I do now? I just read the winners list the next day and go, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wait for the email that comes out and says, "Look what we did! Awesome work, team." That's the email, exactly, the pat on the back. Could care less about them either way, because We don't care. But anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I have a lot of else, but no.
All right. Well, I'm DJ. That's Dustin. Tweet us, Facebook us, listen to us, keep listening. iTunes, Google Play, this YouTube thing, all of it. We're everywhere. Thank you for watching.
What platforms we're on.
Thank you for participating. We out.
If you have a comment for me, send it to him. That's the only way I find out.
And then I ignore it. Bye.